Let's head north to North Wales, to Gillian, who's found one of the most picturesque spots in the UK.
It absolutely is. And I'm sad to say it is our last night of our North Wales tour. We're back at the RSPB Reserve at South Stack. Dramatic coastlines and sea cliffs that are host to globally important seabird colonies right through the spring and summer months here. So just to take a look at the site here, it's beautiful, as Chris said. This is the approach to South Stack. The lighthouse there, you can see this is like a seabird's eye view. Now, the lighthouse itself was built in 1809. It was built to guide ships around these rocky coastlines, particularly during stormy seas. So that's something we haven't seen much of, but we have seen a lot of their seabirds, like this Fulmar. Really underrated bird, in my opinion. They're beautiful when you see them gliding in, using so little energy, coming into land at the nest site there. They're very faithful to those nest sites. They're also faithful to each other. They often mate for life. And the sunny weather, light breezes means that seabirds have been rafting, making the most of calm seas to rest, to preen. And we've seen these lovely birds as well, puffins. There are 10 nesting here this year in amongst the thousands and thousands of guillemots. This is by far the most numerous species here at the colony. They nest on the bare, rocky ledges of the cliffs there. They're splattered with guano. The droppings there, very noisy, raucous, probably quite smelly as well. There are 13,800 of these guillemots nesting here at the last count, and then more familiar things, herring gulls with their chicks in a much more natural environment to what we're used to seeing in towns and cities. And then the razorbills. Now, I would say for me, these are possibly my favorite over here. They're absolutely fantastic birds. There are 165,000 breeding pairs UK-wide. Here at South Stack, 1,800 razorbills, like I said, in amongst all those guillemots. Now, like I said, I love the razorbills. They do get a little bit lost between the puffins with all their flair and the guillemots with all their numbers, but they really are deserving of a closer look. Those bills, look at that, flattened, thick, with that blunt end giving them the name. In contrast to that guillemot in the foreground there, you can see with that very pointy, slender bill. Now, the breeding birds, the razorbills, will have these chunky bills during the breeding season, but in the non-breeding bird, they're less pronounced, and also that groove becomes less noticeable. So absolutely lovely to see these birds here. And we've had our wildlife camera operator, Steve Phillips, filming this seabird colony, and we've seen some really lovely behavior with the razorbills, a real treat. Now, this was filmed a few weeks ago, and we see these seabird pairs preening each other. This is called allopreening. And research has shown that this sort of behavior is much more common in species that share their parental responsibilities. And it sort of makes sense. You keep your mate healthy and parasite-free, and I imagine that kind of feels pretty good too. So helping to reinforce that pair bond. The female will lay one egg each year, and you can see the pair here, they're swapping incubation duties, so very much a job share. One will head out to sea and forage while the other one sits on the egg. And once they share these job-sharing duties, they continue with that preening behavior as well. Delicate, even though those bills look so chunky. Real treat to watch these birds. Absolutely some of my favorite. Now, of course, once the chicks hatch, that job sharing will continue, because now they've got to keep those chicks safe from aerial predators, of which there are plenty at South Stack. And gulls, there are plenty of gulls. The herring gulls, but also the more ominous, chunky, much larger, greater blackback gull as well. Now, you see both species cruising, patrolling these sea cliffs, on the lookout for not just eggs, but for the newly hatched chicks. Of course, that is all because they need to feed their own chicks, their own brood. The cycle of life. They absolutely do need that food.